Hello, everyone. My name is Saza from Switch, and I'll be your host for today's session at COP28 Japan Pavilion side event entitled "The Seminar for Net Zero and Wellbeing in Life." For those who are joining us online, please use the translation button to choose the according language you would like to listen to. There is a Japanese button as well as the English button, so please make sure you're listening into the right translation. And for those who are joining us in person, you may realize that there is a lot of different sessions happening at the same time. If you're unable to hear what the speakers are saying, please feel free to use a headphone set and channel into channel 0. So channel 0 is your best friend in case you can't hear anyone as the speakers. Oops. Perfect. All right, so I'd like to move on to today's agenda. If we could change the slide, please. Perfect, thank you so much. So we have a full agenda, as you can see. Firstly, we would like to start off with the speech from the government of Japan, and will be followed by the speech from government of India, as well as Brazil, and from the OECD. Once we're done with the opening speech sessions, we'll move on to the photo session, where all the speakers, as well as everyone from the opening speech, will come up here, and then we'll take a photo session. And then we'll move on to a corporate size of the presentation for the session from 7. And we'll have the presentations from each company from Panasonic, SB Power Corp, ASICS, and Lion Corporation. And we'll moving on to the Q&A session at the very end with a 10-minute preparation for that. And we'll be closing the session after the Q&A. So before we start this seminar, I would like to point out a couple of things to all those who are here. The seminar will last approximately 75 minutes until 17:45 without any break time. So if you need to use the washroom, feel free to come in and come back later on as well. Also, please note that this seminar is currently being streamed via Zoom and is being recorded. So I hope that you won't be recording the session, as the archive will be available later on online. All right, so without further ado, I'd like to move on to the seminar with an opening speech by Vice Minister for Global Environmental Affairs, Yutaka Matsuzawa. Vice Minister, the podium is yours.
Thank you. I'm truly delighted to host this seminar, and I extend my heartfelt gratitude to the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change of India to co-host for this seminar. And today we have a very distinguished guest from India, and India, of course, take G20 presidency this year. So very important for Japan as a president of G7 meeting. And again, and next we have a very important person from Brazil, Ambassador, Mr. Ambassador. Thank you very much for coming here. You know, Brazil will take G20 presidency after India's presidency, and then continuously Brazil will take presidency of COP30. Yes, very important. So it is quite nice for the important person from India and Brazil come here today. Thank you very much. And we have another important person from OECD. Actually, OECD helps Japan to create this space for COP28 during G7 meetings. You provide a lot of support to us. Thank you very much. And this seminar serves as an opportunity of the exchanging experiences and best practice in policy-related demand side and initiatives by business. By fostering collaboration at various levels and among stakeholders, such as companies, local governments, organizations, and individuals. The aim of this seminar is to accelerate changes in consumer lifestyle, preferences on products and services, and behaviors related to climate change and the environment. Currently, India has initiated LIFE, encouraging sustainable lifestyle. And similarly, in Japan, we have launched a new national movement, the Kokatsu, aiming to enrich well-being of citizens and contribute not only to net zero, but also to a circular economy and nature positive economy. Through public-private collaboration to stimulate demand for greener products, we strive to transform the lifestyle of our citizens towards a decarbonized society. We hope that this seminar promotes collaboration among the governments, businesses, and organizations of G7 and G20 countries towards net zero and well-being in life. By working closely together, we anticipate that the transformation of individual lifestyles and behavior will expand outward, influencing communities, nations, and the world. With this, I would like to conclude my opening remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Minister, for introducing about the Dekokatsu and how it's important that we continue these processes with the OECD, G7, and G20 as well. All right, well, moving on, we would like to introduce Mr. Amit Raj, the Director from Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change from Government of India. Please come up to the stage.
Thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak at this platform. Distinguished guests, esteemed speakers, and fellow participants, I am honored to stand before you today to discuss an imperative topic that shapes the very fabric of our future. Achieving a state of net zero and its profound implications for our well-being and the health of this planet. In recent years, the notion of achieving net zero carbon emissions has emerged as a beacon of hope in our battle against climate change. It encapsulates an ambitious yet imperative goal. The equilibrium between the amount of greenhouse gases emitted and the equivalent amount removed from the atmosphere. However, beyond its technical complexities and environmental significance, the pursuit of net zero presents an unparalleled opportunity to reframe our lives and communities towards a more holistic and well-being centric approach. Net zero isn't just about mitigating emissions, but it's a paradigm shift towards a lifestyle that nurtures both the planet and ourselves. It offers a blueprint for building communities where our well-being thrives in harmony with environmental sustainability. Picture a world where clean air is the norm, where the reduction of pollution levels not only curtails climate impact, but also enhances our physical health. Imagine the mental well-being that stems from knowing we are leaving a healthy, thriving planet for future generations. The journey to net zero extends far beyond industries and policies. It calls for a profound transformation in our daily lives. It encourages us to embrace sustainable practices, consciously reduce our carbon footprints, and reevaluate our consumption patterns. By adopting energy-efficient habits, supporting renewable energy sources, reducing waste, and embracing eco-friendly choices, each one of us becomes an active participant in the global mission towards net zero. And that is what we call as pro-planet people. However, this journey is not devoid of challenges. It demands collective action, innovative solution, and inclusivity. A crucial aspect of our pursuit should focus on ensuring that the transition towards net zero is equitable, leaving no community or individual behind. Moreover, the pursuit of net zero should be celebrated as an opportunity for progress. It's about fostering innovation, creating green-collar jobs, and steering economies towards sustainable growth while bolstering resilience against climate-related risks. Mission Life, Lifestyle for Environment, is an India-led global mass movement to nudge individual and community action to protect and preserve the environment. At the 26th session of the Conference of the Parties, COP26, at the United Nations Framework Convention Climate Change held in Glasgow, United Kingdom, India shared this mantra of Mission Life. This was a mission to combat climate change. Mission Life was globally announced on October 2022. India is the first country to include life in its nationally determined contributions. I must tell you that IEA conducted modeling studies on the benefits of advancing the lifestyle for environment. The initial report of IEA points out that worldwide adoption of actions and measures targeted by life mission, including behavioral changes and sustainable consumer choices, would reduce annual global carbon dioxide emission by more than 2 billion tons. This is about 1/5 of the emission reductions needed by 2030 to put the world on a pathway to net zero. Let us recognize that our efforts towards net zero are not isolated actions. They are interconnected threads in the larger tapestry of our well-being. They encompass physical health, mental peace, social cohesion, and a sustainable environment. In conclusion, the journey to net zero is not merely a technical milestone. It's a compass guiding us towards a world where our well-being is intrinsically linked with the health of our planet. It's about nurturing a symbiotic relationship between human prosperity and environmental stewardship. Let us pledge today to embrace this journey, not just for the sake of our environment, but for the enrichment of our lives and the well-being of generations to come. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Director Raj, for pointing out the common goal for carbon neutrality that goes beyond just the technicality and the energy efficiency, but is actually trying to address that we need to discuss more of how to become more holistic and well-being centric in our lives. I think this is a commonality that everyone has, and we need to put that discussion really at the center. Thank you so much. All right, well, next off, we will have a speech from the Ambassador André Aranha, Corrêa do Lago, from Climate, Energy, and Environment of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Brazil. The floor is your, Ambassador.
Well, thank you very much for the invitation. I take this event very personally because I was ambassador to Japan for 5 years and then ambassador to India for 5 years. So I feel very much at home in this event. I have to say that we are very happy that during the G20 Brazilian presidency that started last week, we are going to concentrate very much on these issues that are being raised today. Because as we all know, we worked very hard for SDG 12. The unsustainable patterns of production and consumption are extremely important to be dealt with. And one of our desires during next year is to strengthen the synergies between the SDGs and climate. And we're going to have the UN conference in Brasilia on these synergies. I would like also to mention that in our G20 presidency, President Lula's priorities very clearly are, on one side, the fight against poverty and inequalities, and also climate change. And in that context, Brazil is proposing the bioeconomy initiative under the G20. And under the bioeconomy, we want to make sure that we explore in depth the many alternatives that will have also a very strong impact on lifestyles. Immediately after Brazil's presidency of G20, we will be the president of BRICS Plus for 1 year, and that year ends with COP30. So we hope to make sure we strengthen this theme in all this sequence to make sure we have a coherent series of events in Brazil about these things. And I would like to stress that Brazil has launched the National Ecological Transformation Plan from the Ministry of Finance that encompasses all the ministries and the entire government on this objective. And obviously, lifestyles, the change of unsustainable patterns of consumption is a very important point into that. So I would like to tell you that Brazil joins this agenda with enthusiasm, and we hope that in those 2 years in which we will have a very strong agenda in Brazil, we can all work together in that sense. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ambassador, for your very strong words. And I love that you started off with your connection with Japan and India. Well, especially because I think we realize that it's not just about politics, but if we are friends across nations, it's easier to work together. And how do we really do that for well-being and all the aspects that you have mentioned? Thank you very much. All right, well, next off, we will have Ms. Mathilde Mesnard from OECD as our final speech. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Vice Minister, for inviting the OECD to present the work we do to help you to support, the work on your initiatives, the lifestyle mission and upcoming Brazilian initiatives on this very important issue of try to grow more sustainable lifestyles. So indeed, household consumption decisions impact the climate and the environment in numerous ways. Impacts arise from daily habits such as what we eat or how we commute, and less frequent choices such as how we heat at home, our homes or offices, and whether to purchase a car and which type of car we can purchase. The sixth assessment report of the IPCC highlights the potential role of individual and households' daily choices can play in reducing greenhouse gas emissions. Both individual and collective actions are needed to realize the potential for a more sustainable future. You mentioned that there is a potential of 20% of global emissions, so that's quite important. But to enable such action, governments must remove obstacles to sustainable choices and provide households sufficient incentives to adopt this more sustainable lifestyle. And what are the barriers to households face? At the OECD, we have asked over 17,000 households from 9 OECD countries about their attitudes, their behaviors, and support for environmental policies in the areas of energy, transport, waste, and food. And the survey results show that what is really key is availability of options, convenience of these options, and affordability. And these are key really for households to do the right choices. Let me provide you with just some examples. First, the availability of low carbon transport options is really a prerequisite for more sustainable transport choices. 75% of households in our report report that at least one household member uses a conventional car on a regular basis. And while this points to the potential role of the electric vehicles in decarbonizing the transport sector, 1/3 reported that there are no charging stations within 3 kilometers of their residence. And further, over half of regular car users, 54%, indicate that improved and cheaper public transport would encourage them to drive less. Second, in terms of convenience, this is, again, an important factor in determining energy conservation behavior. While the majority of households tend to adopt energy conservation measures that do not require significant effort or changes in perceived comfort, such as switching off the lights. You know, when you leave a room, 92% of people surveyed say that they do that, but very much fewer minimize the use of heating or cooling, only 68%. Third, affordability remains the key factor in household food choices. Only 9% of households surveyed consider the potential carbon footprint of their food purchases. In comparison, over 60% prioritize affordability, taste, and freshness when purchasing food. And these findings are independent of people's reported level of environmental concern or household income. So that's quite important to consider. So to conclude, ensuring greater access, removing barriers, and improving incentives and affordability should be the priorities for government to harness the tremendous potential of households in contributing to climate action. Thank you.
Ms. Mesnard, thank you so much for your points. I think you really did bring out that we need to consider how can the average consumer really make the next transition happen. And it was a very clear exemplification, apologies, for availability as well as affordability action. And we could really make that happen with all these people coming together. So now that we have done with the opening speeches, we would like to move on to the photo session. So if all speakers, including the corporate side, join us onto the stage, we will be taking a picture from the Ministry of Environment, who will be taking the picture from the back. So if you could just come up to the stage real quickly, and then we'll just take a picture. Thank you very much. And the photographer is on that side. So if you could all face the photographer. Lovely. I think we don't have too much space, so if you could all take one step inwards, great. Lovely, thank you so much. All right, thank you so much. If you could all return to your seats, and we'll be preparing for the next session, next part of the session, in which the corporate side of Japan will be introducing their initiatives. So as we are just preparing, I would like to introduce the next speaker. We will have a summary presentation and review of the online workshop for net zero and well-being in life that was held in November. And this presentation will be by Mr. Inoue from the Ministry of Environment. Mr. Inoue, the podium is yours.
All right. So as the organizers, so I'll introduce the summary of the online workshop that held the last month. So the next slide, please. Yep. And this online workshop is just jointly organized by the G20 Presidency of India and the G7 Presidency of Japan. So thank you for the India again. And also this kind of the collaboration is just help supported by the OECD. So that was also the helpful. Thank you very much. And there is a wide range of the speakers, just how their own experiences to just good practices in order to change the consumers' behaviors. So I'd like to summarize this, the 3 hours workshop within the 5 minutes or something like that. So next slide, please. So as the first presenter from the Indian government, also the Indian industry, they're showing the global mass movement life as the already explained, and also some details, including some travel certification and also the incentivized program, and also some eco-mark labeling. And there's Indian industry fully just collaborate with the government and also this life, the movement in the several, it's a very wide range of the fields. The next, please. And the next is OECD. And as Mathilde has already just introduced, that's the pretty professional international survey on the policy and individual behavior change in the 9 countries. So that you miss it. Can't miss it. And also the key point here to change the behavior, as already just introduced, there's 3 points. Again, affordability, availability, and convenience. So the next slide, please. And from the Japanese businesses, the Daikin is spreading the energy efficient, the inverter, air conditioner. And from the Japan, Asia, and the North and South America, and Europe as well. And from there is a presentation, the key point here is how to get the consumers' understanding, and by the easy to understand some of the devices like the catalogs and the flyers, and also in collaboration with the distributors. So that is the big point. If they have some of the great technology, but the consumer can't understand this, so it can't be done. So that's the point. The next slide, please. The next is the French government. They are introducing the new public environmental labeling system. And they say that the point here is the labeling system should be verifiable and easy understanding. Otherwise, the consumers can't be used. And also the various stakeholders, including the businesses, the industry, and some of the NGOs, should take part in their governance. So that's another point of the collaboration. The next slide, please. And from the Brazilians, that's a prominent, some of the company, the Braskem, it's quite famous in some circular economy fields. They are offering spreading the polymer, is kind of the bioplastics, as an alternative of the conventional plastic. And they just point out some key to change behavior is that promoting understanding that this kind of new materials to the brand owners to be used, and also how to educate the consumers. So that's another point of that. So the next slides, please. And this is just about some of the sports issues from the UK, some of the organization. It's called this sports initiative, and they're just providing the sustainability ranking system for the English Premier League and the football some clubs, engaging the clubs and also fans engagement. And this point is also the same as the communication and the relationship building. So that is very important again. And the next slide, please. This is all about this. It's a European some of the organization is Audio. They're just introducing some new services which enable individuals can just share the surplus unused food with neighbors, and also that the businesses can distribute their food through the volunteers. So it can be sustainable, it's workable. So the point here is, again, the community building and also volunteer training. There's a bunch of the volunteers there, so just supporting the 700 million people in the 62 countries. So that's quite huge, yes. And the next slide, please. Actually, this is the final one. It's a fashion field from the US, the based some organizations, right? So that's providing sustainability index to the industry, like the apparel or this textile industry, enabling consumers to just understand which is sustainable and select the fashion goods. So that is a new platform for sustainability. And the key here is a clear and transparent information. And also the consumer education is also needed. That's quite important. So that is all about this online workshop from the very wide range of the speakers here. So the final slide, please. And again, this is all in all, the key message from the online workshop here is that the easy to understand information. That is quite important, and also the easy and the simple and the beneficial some devices. That is quite useful for the consumer. And finally, and like this event, very wide range of local collaboration and the governments, the businesses and the communities. That is quite essential. So, so we are very looking for the next, the further some of the best practices from Japan side, so that we can't miss that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Inoue, for sharing the workshop summary. I think it was quite interesting because we started off from farming, sports, fashion, food sharing, but we realized that sharing the best practices will really support the fastening of this consumer lifestyle. Instead of repeating itself in each country and trying to come up with a 0-1 project, we can share and spread that knowledge. Next off, we will now move on to the case study presentations from the Japanese corporation side. Each presentation will be approximately 5 minutes long. And at the end of the presentations, once all the speakers are done, we will move on to the 10-minute Q&A session. So for those who are joining us online, please feel free to drop some questions on the Zoom chat. And if you are participating in person, we'll ask you to raise your hand later and we'll pick your question up. All right, well, firstly, we will have a presentation from Mr. Tokunaga from Panasonic Holdings, followed by Mr. Baba from Mononaware. Well, Mr. Baba, would you be able to come up to the stage, please? Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. So I'm very honored to have this opportunity to share our commitments to contribute to both net zero and also well-being as a Japanese comprehensive electric manufacturer. Next, please. Our founder, Konosuke Matsushita, declared the 250-year plan in 1932, stating that we should realize our ideal society with affluence both in material and spiritual aspects over the course of 250 years. Since then, well-being and sustainability have become the roots of our mission. But currently, we are facing the critical challenges to resolve environmental issues to realize an ideal society over the course of another 160 years. To tackle these challenges, we set long-term vision, Panasonic Green Impact. Next, please. Here's an overview of what Panasonic Green Impact is. We are committed to creating an impact that reduces more than 300 million tons of CO2 by 2050, which is approximately equivalent to 1% of total global emissions. The first impact we will create involves our value chain, where we aim to reduce 110 million tons of CO2 emission in accordance with our responsibility outlined in the GHG protocol. However, our commitment goes beyond the protocol. The second and third impacts contribute to the reduction of 200 million tons of CO2 in society by what we call avoided emissions through our existing and new businesses and technologies. Next, please. From eco-friendly home appliances to smart devices, our products interact with users every day. So this extensive interaction enhances users' well-being, but also contributes to our carbon emissions. Actually, 1 billion people around the world use our product every day that consume approximately 1% of global electricity demand. And more than 80% of this consumption is from the household sector. However, today, I want to emphasize that this extensive interaction is a unique opportunity for positive change. We can guide users toward a greener lifestyle for not only fulfilling our corporate responsibility, but also empowering consumers to be active participants in the fight against climate change. To encourage such behavioral change and turn it into a movement, we have initiated a cross-company initiative called the Positive Action Initiative. Now, I would like to introduce our partner, Mr. Baba, to provide an overview of the Positive Action Initiative.
Thank you for the introduction. I have a video that nicely demonstrates the approach of the coalition. So could you play the video here? Okay.
What if what you do without thinking twice every day contributes to the greater goals of your country and the whole world? Once you start thinking like that, even the difficult word decarbonization becomes a little more familiar and closer to heart. As a matter of fact, each and every one of us is doing something good for the world. We want to create a world where such actions are visible and recognized by others. Whenever you buy energy-efficient appliances or LED lighting, whenever you buy sustainable fashion on a shopping site, whenever you purchase a next-generation car, whenever you choose to work from home instead of commuting, we want to create a world where every such mundane action you take that leads to decarbonization or is just good for someone else will become visible. Oh, wow, I didn't know even that contributed to the cause. So, what priceless rewards can we give to the contributors? We will think about this together with the participating organizations and consumers. Wouldn't it be great if you could get recognition and actual awards for your contributions? Just like that, we can see the positive actions of each and every one of us building up, spreading, and moving Japan and the whole world toward the goal. Come on, let's create such a world together. Companies and organizations are already working together to achieve this in Japan, and we will expand the circle to the rest of the world. The Positive Action Initiative.
So about a year ago, we started a project initiated by Panasonic with Rakuten and Docomo, which is a well-known platform company for not only as a mobile phone carrier and the e-commerce largest e-commerce company in Japan, but also the famous point and reward system, the really integrated part of the consumer decision in Japan. The trillion of points and rewards have been issued by those companies. And in response to consumer action around the choice of the transportation, food, and clothing, etc., home experience, and more. So we discussed the idea of what if the substantial reduction in avoided emission caused by consumer action, not by the corporate products and service, can generate the incentives like the carbon emission, carbon credit. And so now we launched the project half a year ago at the G7 Hiroshima. So we now, with more partners participated, And we are so excited to collaborate with those iconic partners who they are hard to imagine a day without them. So to determine the new norm of the consumer actions and habits. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tokunaga and Mr. Baba, regarding the Green Impact Initiative, in which you really can support the consumers to be the next change makers, and those consumers spreading their impact through giving them recognition. We would now like to ask for Mr. Nakano from SB Power Group Corporation to do her presentation, please.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Nakano from SB Power Corporation. That is one of the large electric retailers in Japan and a group company of SoftBank Corporation. And I'm very happy to have the opportunity to explain about our very much unique energy saving program. Okay, let me start. Next page, please. So we, SB Power, are committed to decarbonization efforts and provide a service called AI-powered service for reducing CO2. It's an energy saving service, electricity saving service that encourages household customers to save electricity through our unique dedicated smart home app. By participating through this app, users will not only save electricity bills, but also can help reduce CO2 emissions. That means it can contribute to decarbonization. With over 3 million households, they're using our services. And it has become the largest energy saving service for household in Japan. Next page, please. This service is very, very simple, allowing users who receive an energy saving request from us based on AI to participate in just 2 steps. The results are available next day immediately. So let me explain in more detail. And the users can easily join the service by simply pressing the participate button, the second one actually, the left-hand side and second one. And after that, they save electricity by actions such as maybe turning off the light or something like that. Then they can check the result, their power saving efforts. So the next day immediately, and also if successful, they can also receive rewards through this app. That feels like a game. This app is integrated with the #1 QR code payment service in Japan. So users can easily use the reward immediately they have got. By using this app, energy saving has become a habit, a kind of habit. This is obviously a gamification. So next page, please. Okay, so our service is also provided to other electric retailer as a package containing services from introduction to operation. It has already succeeded in being introduced by 6 major utilities in Japan, including the largest electric power company in Japan. And it's already being used by a total of more than 3 million households nationwide, as I said. So next page, please. Okay, the slide shows the effect of our service. The shown on the left side, is amount of electricity consumed in March 2022, when the supply and demand of electricity in Tokyo became extremely tight. It indicates that our service actually had a positive effect on energy saving. We've confirmed that the consumer who participated in our service, the blue line on the graph, the blue line had saved 10% more electricity than non-participant, and gray line, actually. Now on the right-hand side, that we see that in the fiscal year 2022, we did a kind of pilot project in 2022. We accomplished to reduce CO2 emission by roughly 11,000 tons, which is equivalent to the annual CO2 emission of about 4,000 households in Japan. The number is still small, but next page, please. Okay, so even small effort by one household can add up to great effect, we believe. So by expanding our service, not only in Japan, but also worldwide, we believe we would like to, we can contribute to carbon neutrality on a global scale. That concludes my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Nakano, for sharing that it is possible for consumers to really change something within their own hands and receive immediate reward systems so that it becomes a more habitual system for everyone to support these corporations across sectors to reduce their increase the renewable energy resources. Next, we would like to have a presentation by Ms. Yoshikawa from ASICS Corporation.
Hello, everyone. My name is Minako Yoshikawa from ASICS Corporation. Thank you for inviting us and welcome to the journey to the lightest CO2 emission sneaker on market. Next, please. ASICS' purpose has always been to help people achieve a sound mind and a sound body through the uplifting power of sport. That is why we're called ASICS, an acronym of Latin phrase Anima Sana in Corpore Sano, a sound mind in a sound body. As climate crisis is an increasing threat for people now and next generations to enjoy sports, we need sound earth to run on. Next. As one of the leading sports brands aiming to achieve net zero, we need to tackle the issues in footwear industry. According to Qantas 2018 poll, 20 billion pair of shoes are produced each year, which accounts for 1.4% of GHG emissions. To contribute to solving this issue, we asked ourselves, how can we make the lowest CO2 emission shoes ever? Next, please. To achieve our goal, there were challenges. First, measuring the carbon footprint of shoes is difficult. It requires transparency from the initial material, sourcing all the way to end of life of the product. Second, the way of making shoes requires many parts and variety of materials, which result in more CO2 emission. Third, the sheer number of stakeholders we need to engage with is complex, from material and production suppliers to logistics partners. Last but not the least, we, ASICS, were not willing to compromise on quality for consumers. Next. Looking at the life cycle of running shoes, 90% of the emissions comes from the two stages, the first two stages, material and manufacturing. Therefore, our primary focus was the two. Next, please. Among the total of 16 reduction methods, the key innovation was the new carbon negative foam featured in the midsole and sock liner. Made from a fusion of bio-based polymer derived partially from sugarcane, these combine to deliver high-level comfort in more sustainable way. Next, please. How many parts do you think usually the shoe have? About 50. We reimagined the structure of the shoe and reduced parts by 50%. On top, at the manufacturing side of the supplier, 100% renewable energy was used. Next, please. As a result of our efforts, in September this year, we launched the Gel Light 3 CM1.95, CO2 emissions totaling only 1.95. This was a major achievement, delivering less than 1/4 of ASICS category average of 8 kilograms, and also considering the previous world's lightest emission shoes was at around 2.9 kilograms. This would not have been possible without collective action from our team, suppliers, and importantly, with consumers. For consumers to have confidence in sustainable footwear, we did not want to compromise on quality, including durability and on fashion. Important thing is that we could provide a product to consumers that delivers on quality and performance in the most sustainable way possible. Next, please. Consumer communication. We introduced this sneaker on market with full transparency on carbon footprint across all touch points. The communication to consumer was simple, and the price was kept within the regular range. In addition, the collaboration with a Japanese fashion brand called CFCL helped us to reach the influential fashion-conscious consumers. Next, please. We're expanding the carbon footprint labeling so that consumer knows the impact of the product that they purchase and make informed decisions. Next, please. The lightest CO2 sneaker is just a start. Moving forward, we are applying the learnings in wider range of products and launching new innovations. Our ambition is to keep evolving to protect planet and ensure the future generations to have sound mind in a sound body through the uplifting power of sports. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Yoshikawa, for showing us that carbon neutrality can actually be really cool and full of design, so that the younger generation will be the pioneers in wearing this and showing the other generation that everyone actually wants this, and we should share this form of new footwear to be manufactured in many different ways. Our final panel speaker is Mr. Kobayashi from the Lion Corporation. Mr. Kobayashi, if you could come up online.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I'd like to express my appreciation to Inoue in Japan, hosting this event, and to those who have joined us for this seminar. It is my great honor to share our experience with you in the Japan Pavilion at COP28. Next, please. I'm presenting the significant possibility of the habits in daily life and how to realize them. According to the IEA report, Net Zero by 2050, the estimated share of behavior change in the total CO2 reduction in 2050 is relatively small, compared to technology and development and current technology in the market. Next, please. However, when we look at it from the consumption-based accounting perspective, UN report and research study have shown that 65% of CO2 emission are linked to the household sector, suggesting that the household sector plays a major role in achieving significant emission reductions. As a manufacturer of the household product in Japan, we Ryohei Corporation have been working to create habits that reduce CO2 emissions from the household. We would like to introduce our experience and insight to you. So please watch the short video. Please move the video, please. Okay, so this is a little pack actually. The one of the factors that encourage to the adoption plastic saving packaging habit is the cost reduction and the lower price that caused by cutting plastic and CO2, which makes our consumer happier. Of course, developing technology to ensure product quality is also important. I'm not going to this detail now, but if you have interest in just math factors, please feel free to ask me later. Next, please. I'd like to conclude my presentation with our message to you. We hope to work together with you to create eco-friendly habits. Let's change habit together to make a significant impact on that 65%. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Kobayashi, for the presentation and all the speakers for your lovely presentation. I'd like to open the floor to a Q&A session where we'll take, I think because we are pressing with time, one question. If someone has a burning question, if they could raise their hand and address that. Is there any question from the floor? Okay, no worries. I will take a look at our online Q&A and see if we have any question from there. All right, I see that we do not have any questions from online either, so I'll pose a question myself instead. So a question I have for all the speakers is what are the current challenges in getting more people to adopt your current system? And what are the next steps that are being considered at the moment? So because I have Mr. Kobayashi right next to me, I think I'd like to start from your end, if that's all right. Yes, just press the button. So, oh yes, you can speak now.
You mean just for to make it a habit to how to encourage them?
Yes. What kind of, what are some of the challenges in adopting your system? I think you have been quite successful right now, but.
So actually, it is very not easy to change the mind of people to encourage their action in the daily life. But one of the point is that for the price is maybe one of the benefit for the consumers. Like this is a refill pack is cheaper than bottles product in Japan. So of course it is in technology is behind to keep the good quality product in this package. It is not easy way. But anyway, to reduce the price is also one of the benefit, as well as it's not meaning to lose the profit in the companies. It means the cost is also cheap. So it's one of the way to encourage, I think.
Thank you so much. And moving on, Ms. Yoshikawa.
Yes, because we're providing sporting goods to consumers, the balancing the quality, the performance, and the sustainability is a challenge always, because consumers do not want to compromise. They want to run as fast as they can and still do good for the environment. So that's a challenge. And also, we think providing informed decisions is very important for consumers. But like I said in the presentation, measuring the carbon footprint, especially when you want to do it right, is very difficult for shoes. Like I also said that running shoes has like 50 parts. So all the way from the material to all the way down to the end of life, calculating that right is a challenge. But still, we want to expand and propose to consumers so they can be conscious on what they choose.
So I guess the key message is to make sure the communication is very simple, but understandable and relatable.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And Mr. Nakano?
Yes, we have some challenges. I think the biggest challenge is how we can make users continue to use our app, continue to participate in the app, our program. Early this year, with the support of Ministry of Environment, we've created CO2 saving ranking. First prize, second prize, third prize ranking feature in the app. And that increases motivation by encouraging the users to compete with each other. So this really helps us to maintain the very much high participation rate in the program. Currently, more than 50% users participate in our program average. So moving forward, we will further provide our very unique contents in our app to user with enjoyable experience. That is our challenge.
Thank you so much. The continuity process means that everyone, as a corporation, SB Power has to develop your mode of reward system and further adapt as well. Thank you so much. And next, I would like to move on to Mr. Baba.
Well, it was interesting to hear the multiple people mention the EA reports that articulates 30%, actually 4% of the global emission reduction for net zero in 2050 caused by behavioral change. So it's big enough, or as you, Kobayashi mentioned, it's small, relatively small. So the annual report also articulated 96%, rest of the behavioral change will come from the technology side, 50% of new technology, and 46% of existing technology adoption. But who is the investment in the new technology, or who adopted the existing technology, the changing the ICE vehicle to EV or detergents, for example. So people, so without people behavior change and the mindset shift, the technology, which is 96% of the net zero elements, will never happen. So we can't underestimate the behavioral change and the mind shift. Even this report says 4%. So for me, it is great to see finally G7 this year, they recognize the importance of the avoided emission that the company created. It's avoided emission, the definition of them is the product deduction caused by product and service happen outside of the corporate value chain, which is outside of scope 1, 2, and 3. So probably individual same. So individual and corporates have ability to make positive impact from outside of their primary responsibility. So we can't neglecting those potential value from the private sectors.
Thank you, Mr. Baba. And moving on to Mr. Tokunaga.
Thank you. So in order for people to change behavior, we believe that somehow people should be rewarded by the positive change. So at the same time, corporate initiative, which motivate people to move to the decarbonization, also be recognized fairly and positively from the stakeholders. So I think we have mainly two items to tackle. So first is that visualization of active or positive behavior. So now positive action initiative started discussion about how to standardize the connection between the behavioral change and CO2 emission. So this CO2 emission is a kind of avoided emission. And the second item to tackle is to have a platform that everyone can join to make a reward against the positive behavioral change from people in life. So we also talk together in a cross-company initiative that we can make such a platform as well.
Thank you, Mr. Tokunaga. I think the two of you really pointed out that we need the change in behavior, or else the technology that was developed will go to waste. And I think we have a question from Ms. Minako.
Yes, I have a question to all of you, in fact, because you have tested your mechanisms to encourage, change in consumers' behavior in Japan. My question is, have you tested it also elsewhere? Are you confident that it would be the same success, the same impact elsewhere? Because maybe Japanese consumers are more responsible than others. So that's a question to all of you.
Thank you. So it seems to be a question to all of us, but we are running out of time. So maybe two people can make a comment. Mr. Kobayashi.
Okay, thank you very much for your questions. I think maybe it takes time to not educate, but to realize them to how important for their environment program, something like that. But I think just in my video presentation, it takes a long time to making the brushing habit in the tooth. But nowadays, many people to just brushing teeth in the morning and night is a habit. So I think it takes time, but we can do it.
It is also very good question and a point. Actually, we are planning to provide our services to some other countries and in Asia and the US. But and he said, as he said, it might take some time to fix it. But so we would like to change depending on the culture each countries. For example, in Europe, we might use IoT device to reduce CO2 emission. Or in Japan, we don't use the device. It costs much. That's why we don't use device at all. So, but in Europe, if we need, we would like to introduce IoT device to reduce something. So we always change depending on the country we live.
Thank you, Mr. Nakano. So I think we really identified that we need to localize the material, but it is possible to make that change. Thank you so much. All right, well, speakers, I know you do have things that you want to share with the rest of the crew here, but maybe you can network later on. And I'd like to finally close this session with a remark from Mr. Matsuzawa from the Ministry of Environment as well. Mr. Matsuzawa.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your contribution to this seminar. I personally recognized as a consumer, yes, plastic saving package. Now it's very common in the stores and in my house and others' house. It says we have a clear change of preferences from the plastic bottles to plastic saving package. Price is lower and we reduce waste in my house and that is convenient. We are suffering from a lot of bottles, used bottles, but this package is quite nice and convenient. So from OECD report, availability, convenience, and affordability. That is, I really understand, and yes, these 3 points really captures the consumers' behaviors. And energy saving, regarding energy saving, if we recognize quickly after the our action, our actions and the result of energy saving, almost real time, it is very important. For instance, Saturday night, I try to conduct some energy efficient actions, and next Sunday, from the iPhone, I can check my performance. That is quite nice, and this cycle may create something like a habit, and again, consumer behavior change. And the first presentation, I think something like a reward to behavior change. It is quite important, and every time to policymakers, it is something like head-aching issues, because budget is necessary, but government has no budget to provide such a reward continuously. So it is a very difficult point, but certainly reward is effective because India has already introduced this reward system, and other countries also considers this methodology. So today's discussion is very fruitful, and of course, I capture the discussion, and the audience will also capture this discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vice Minister, for your warm supporting comments. And when I listened to all of your speeches, as well as the corporates showcasing their work, I think we realized that what's important is to really put not only the planet at first, but the human aspect. How can we really create this holistic methodology to be co-collaborators in creating a well-being centric compass for the companies, as well as collaboration with the government side. And I think we do find that bridging already happening. So we're really excited for that collaboration to continue in the G7, G20, as well as the OECD as well. And I hope that moving onward, there will be more youth in these processes in discussing and how to share these actions to be more at the center as well. All right, well, thank you so much, speakers, and the opening speeches from our very special guests and all those who are joining us online. I'd like to conclude our seminar by just notifying you that this seminar will be available via report, as well as the archive will be online on the G7 platform. So if you are interested, please feel free to watch it again, or also share it with your friends as well as colleagues to showcase what we are doing here as well. So I'd like to end the session with a very warm applause for all the speakers. And I hope everyone can say hello to each other later on as well. Thank you so much for coming here.